instruction video for performing aseptic technique. Some of the drying times we're going to shorten here just for the purposes of making the video, but in class you will need to spend the full amount of time for drying purposes. So to start off, we've come in, washed our hands, and put on a lab coat. Now I've cleared my space and we're going to sanitize the tabletop. So you're going to spray a small amount of Cytocon, take some Kim wipes, and start wiping the tabletop from the farthest point away from myself towards me. Now we need to let this surface dry all the way. The Cytocon, by the time it's dried, it will have done all of its work. Also, you want to let the Cytocon dry by itself. If we wave at it or try to blow at the Cytocon to dry it quicker, you're just introducing more contaminants to the surface. Now, once the Cytocon is completely dry, which might take several minutes, we will take an ethanol wipe and do the same thing that we just did with the Cytocon. And this is going to be just a briefer demonstration of what you would usually do. Now the ethanol we especially want to dry completely before we start using a Bunsen burner because the ethanol is flammable. Now for those two steps I was wearing gloves because we want to protect our skin from the Cytocon, which we used in the first step, but now we can take the gloves off, and you don't want to be wearing gloves while working near a Bunsen burner. So I'm going to start assembling my materials for performing aseptic technique. I've got my Bunsen burner and a striker. Now, to turn the Bunsen burner on, I'm just going to twist the knob towards myself and squeeze the handles of the striker. And I'm going to adjust the flame so that we get a blue cone that isn't roaring at us. Okay, now I'm going to make a transfer of a few milliliters from a sterile bottle to a sterile culture tube. So first I'm going to loosen the lids on my bottle and my tube. Now to make this transfer I'm going to use a serological pipette and a pipetter. I'm going to transfer 2 mils from the bottle to the tube. So I will open the serological pipette, kind of like you're peeling a banana. There are 2 sides of numbers to the serological pipette. One side is really big and kind of goes backwards, but the small numbers on the other side are the numbers we want to use because they go from small to big. So I'm going to just load the serological pipette onto the pipetter with the small numbers facing towards me. Now, you never want to set a cap or a lid on the tabletop, so in my non-dominant hand I'm going to remove the cap and pass the opening of my bottle near the flame several times, and I'm going to hold it at an angle so that no contaminants can fall into the opening. And I'm going to insert the serological pipette into the bottle and use my thumb to roll up to the volume that I want. Remove the serological pipette, flame the bottle again, and place the cap back on. Now for my culture tube, I'm going to do the same thing. Remove the cap, flame, and then I'll roll the opposite direction with my thumb to get rid of the liquid, flame again, and remove the cap. Then I will dispose of my serological pipette and tighten the lids on my bottles. Now we're going to move a really small amount of liquid from a microcentrifuge tube to the culture tube. So again, I'll loosen the caps. I'm going to do about 50 microliters. So let me just get all of my equipment near the flame. I'm going to open the tip box just long enough to get a tip. Now your microcentrifuge tube is too small and it's made of plastic, so you don't want to flame it. Just open it up near the flame, quickly get your liquid, and recap it. Now I'll grab my culture tube, remove the cap, flame, eject my liquid, flame again, and replace the cap. And then dispose of the tips in a tip waste basket. Now when you're done, you will turn off your flame and never leave it unattended, and then we will completely clean the tabletop just like we did in the beginning.